Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to make this mesh pullover. It's lightweight, easy to put together, and perfect for layering. So I'll walk you through the whole process step by step, and if you need extra help, you can also check out the written pattern linked below. The finished pullover in this tutorial is about a small to medium size, and if you need to make adjustments for the size, you can reference the written pattern that I have on my Etsy. All right, so you'll need a tape measure to measure from shoulder to shoulder across your chest. You'll need some scissors. You'll also need a stitch marker. I use bobby pins. You'll need a yarn needle or a tapestry needle, and you will need a 8mm hook, and you're going to need a 5mm hook. All right, so we'll be using 3 different types of yarn. The first one is the Cloud Packer yarn, which is a medium weight yarn, and it's so soft and I love it, and that's what we're going to be using for the mesh part of the sweater, and it's in the color Honeydew. The next yarn we'll be using is some of the colors from the Peaches and Cream brand stripy yarn. It's called Lavender Meadow, and basically I just pulled out the colors that I wanted and wrapped it around a yarn cone, and I just used those colors that I wanted. And it's also a medium weight yarn. And this is the last yarn we'll be using, and this is also from Peaches and Cream. It's 100% cotton in the color Ecru, and this will be used for pretty much all of the borders of the pullover we're making today. All right, so let's get started. So we will start by making a foundation chain of 39. This creates the base for a small to medium size, but you can adjust the width by adding or subtracting chains in multiples of 2. So for rows 1 through 3, we're just going to pretty much do half double crochets across the entire row. And for the foundation row, I always go through the back loop only. You don't have to do that, but I do it so it looks a little more polished and clean at the end. But yes, so rows 1 through 3 are all going to be the same. You're going to half double crochet the entire row. And here is how it looks after we've completed row 1, and then we're just going to repeat that 2 more times. And here are rows 1 through 3, and I just love how it's looking with the stripy yarn, all the colors. Now for rows 4 and 5, we'll switch to the mesh stitch, which is going to be a treble crochet. We're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and then treble crochet into the next stitch, and then we're just going to repeat this across the row. You're going to turn your work and again do this same mesh pattern, the treble crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then treble crochet into the next stitch. So rows 4 and 5 will be the exact same, this treble crochet mesh pattern. And this is what it looks like after we've done rows 1 through 5. So we're going to repeat this pattern, the 3 rows of half double crochet and the 2 rows of treble crochet mesh, until we reach 18 rows. And this is how it'll look after you've reached the end of your front panel. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our neck opening. So from the top row, count 12 stitches in from each side and place stitch markers there, and that's going to be the neck opening. On the right side, we're going to work that treble crochet mesh stitch up into the stitch marker, and we're going to do 2 rows of that, and then go ahead and tie off. For the left side, we're going to attach the yarn to the stitch marker on the inside, and we're going to do the treble crochet mesh stitch across to the end of the row, which it'll take you to the end of the shoulder, and then we're going to turn our work and do the treble crochet mesh stitch again for another row up until we reach the stitch marker on the neckline. All right, so now we are going to count the amount of chains that we have at the neckline opening. I have 15, so I'm going to now chain 15 from the end of that treble crochet mesh stitch that we just did. I'm going to chain 15, and then I'm going to connect that chain to the other side, to the treble crochet on the other side. This closes up the neckline, and after we're done this, we will be able to complete the back panel of this pullover. The back panel is made exactly the same way as the front panel. So once we're done closing up the neck opening, we're going to go ahead and start back with our half double crochet. So we're going to do 3 rows of half double crochet, 2 rows of treble crochet mesh, and then back to the 3 rows of half double crochet. You're just going to continue to repeat this pattern until you have reached the 18 rows of your pullover. And here's what it looks like with both panels complete, your front and back panel. Now we're ready to sew up the sides, and we're going to sew up from the bottom about 4 inches, and that will leave us the opening for our sleeves. I like to place a stitch marker where my sleeves are going to start and end. So I placed one at the bottom corner and measured up about 4 inches, and placed another stitch marker where I wanted the sleeves to start. So we're just going to do a simple slip stitch going through both the front and the back panel, starting at the bottom corner, going up about 4 inches. And once we're done this, we're going to repeat this on the other side, sew up about 4 inches from the bottom, and that will leave the opening for our sleeves. And now our sides are all sewn up, so we have our sleeve opening, and we're going to do the border for our sleeves next. For the sleeves, we're going to attach the yarn at the underarm seam and then work 10 single crochets into the stitches as evenly as we can. After we're done our 10 single crochets, we're then going to work 10 half double crochets into the stitches as evenly as possible. And after we're done the half double crochets, we are then going to do about 15 double crochets across the top of the sleeve. And we'll be on the other side of the sleeve after we've done those 15 double crochets. And so now we're on the other side of the sleeve, and we're pretty much going to work that same pattern back down the other side of the sleeve. So we're going to do another 10 half double crochets after that set of 15 double crochets we just completed. So we'll do another 10 half double crochets, and then after that we'll do another 10 single crochets. And once we're done the 10 single crochets, we should be back to the beginning of the row, and then we're just going to connect with a slip stitch. And this is what our sleeve border looks like on one side, and we're just going to repeat for the opposite side, and voila, we're done. Now for the bottom border or the bottom hem, you're just going to single crochet evenly all the way around. To keep the shape nice, I worked about 4 or 5 single crochets and then did a single crochet decrease, just to tighten it up a little bit. And then I just kept repeating that pattern all the way around. And we're just going to do 1 row of single crochet all the way around, do 4 or 5 single crochets, and then do a single crochet decrease. And that's it for the bottom border. And this is what the bottom border looks like now that it is complete with that row of single crochets all the way around. And now the last thing we have to do is the border for the neckline. And for the neckline, all we're going to do is a row of single crochets all the way around in each stitch, and then just place the stitches evenly as we get around to the sides where the stitch is not clearly defined on that treble crochet mesh stitch part. Just do single crochets all the way around, and that's pretty much it for the neckline. And once we get to the end, we're just going to join with the slip stitch, tie off, and we're all done. And this is what it'll look like when you're done the single crochet around the neck. All right, so we're all done. Now all we need to do is weave in the ends, and then voila, here we go. We have a beautiful mesh pullover. I styled mine super easy with a pair of jeans and a white tank, but this pullover is really versatile. You can dress it up, layer it, or just keep it casual. So thanks so much for crocheting with me today. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more crochet fashion. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.